Me hotties, welcome back. Right, we're going to have a look at episode 6, and I was right. Okay, last week I said KB has the coordinates. Yes, she does. This episode told us a lot more about KB's background, a lot of character development going on, which I liked a lot. It was kind of a filler episode, but still really good. So we know that KB had an accident when she was younger. I thought that she was like full-on C-3PO. She was an android from head to toe, but no, she's not. She's kind of similar to Lobot in Empire Strikes Back. She's got these implants. So she must have had a nasty fall and like she got some head trauma. She could have had some kind of disease. Anyway, basically, like her brain has been enhanced. And in this episode, we see her completely shut down and almost die. Luckily, Wim comes to her rescue, and then we do a switch. We have Neil, who is with Fern, because now the boys need to split up, and the girls and the boys need to bond together. And so there's quite a lot of bonding going on. Fern and KB resolve their issues, which is good to see. And it seems like basically, this episode now is about these guys are a team and they are the Skeleton Crew. Now, the most important thing in this episode, and I'm going to double down on what I said last week. I'm hungry! Aren't you hungry? Okay, Jod is hungry. Yes, but he's not hungry for credits. I'm still sticking with my theory that he is hungry for power, just like Palpatine. He is a Class A manipulator, okay? This entire show, he's been leading people on just to get what he wants. He's using people like puppets, just like Palpatine did in the prequels. I promise you, in the final episode, we will see Jod. He will be looking for not the mint. Who cares about the mine? He's not interested in the credits. There's some temple, there's some place of significance to do with the Force. The whole speech that he's given, it's the Pirate's Code. He has 1 minute to talk Brutus out of throwing him out of the airlock. Aren't you hungry? Aren't you sick and tired of always being passed over? Oh, passed over and given the scraps? Who does that sound like? It's Anakin. Anakin was an older Padawan. He used to say things like, I want more, I desire more, yet I know I shouldn't. And this is exactly what a dark side user or someone who has turned to the dark side would say or feel. Jedi do not desire anything. They are like these monks. They forego all emotional and material attachments. There is no feeling of, I'm missing out on something. It was good to see the X-Wings back in business. Those X-Wings will frighten even the most fearsome pirates. So you see Steve Urkel's pirate character, like he's like, retreat, let's get away, there's X-Wings. Like even pirates dare to challenge the New Republic. There's like a very quick dogfight, and the X-Wings make mincemeat of the pirates. Then Wim realizes, why every time I cannot understand who are the good guys and who are the bad guys? Because then he realizes, oh, no, the X-Wings are the good guys. So everything is coming together now. The ending scene with the kids trying to rescue the Onyx Cinder from the trash compactor is great because they use like the Chekhov switch. Whatever you do, don't press that button. So I think it's KB, not Wim. KB presses it, or Fern, and then that sheds the hull of the ship, and we see that this new, shiny, glossy, brand new spaceship emerges. This is just very symbolic. It's meant to represent that the kids are now together as a team. They're independent, they're confident. They don't need adults. They don't need anyone else's help. They are quite capable of getting back to At-Attin by themselves. So I think that the kids are going to get back to At-Attin way before the pirates do with Jod. The other interesting thing is that in episode 1, the opening scene, the pirates attack the New Republic ship. They board the ship, and there's only one credit on board. Now, this obviously is not the opening scene. The writers are, yet again, they're playing with us. This scene is actually, it will happen again in episode 8. The writers are messing with our heads. The timeline is different to what we've been shown. Now, if you still think that Jod is going to redeem himself, forget about it. When the pirates board the ship, they kill a lot of innocent people. And Jod, who is now Captain Silvo again, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about life. He even has the guy, take me to the vault. And then there's nothing in there. He says, throw him out the airlock, which they do, and you hear him scream. He is a cold-blooded murderer. The other thing that I really liked about this episode was the trash crabs. They were hilarious. One of them had a mouse droid on it, and the other one had like C-3PO's leg sticking up in the air. Follow, friend. We will take you to a mother crab, and we're gonna have you for dinner. That whole sequence was brilliant because I didn't know that actually that was all stop motion. And I thought it was CGI. I was like, I can't tell the difference. That's amazing. So basically, I don't know if it was done by Phil Tippett or maybe Phil Tippett came up with the idea for that trash crab, the mother crab. But I have seen a few clips behind the scenes of them moving the crab's legs into different positions and then taking the shots, you know. And, that was so good to see because I grew up in the 70s and 80s with all the special effects being stop motion. I always complain about these TV shows because they focus too much on Easter eggs and tributes, and what they should be doing is, focusing on the story, the plot, the character development, and the Skeleton Crew is doing just that, so I'm really, really happy. Even though it's a show for kids, it's still really, really good, and it's Star Wars. So for me, that was one of the nicest Easter eggs and one of the nicest tributes because Phil Tippett's super old now, and the guy, we would not have the original trilogy without Phil Tippett, like most of the special effects, a lot of the magic done by ILM back in the early days, the inspiration came from Phil Tippett and his just obsession for stop-go motion special effects. Right, the last thing I want to talk about here, and this is where I offer a question to the audience. Okay, so why is this planet still minting Old Republic coins? The Old Republic is gone. We live in a time of the New Republic. So the New Republic probably don't even know that this planet exists. And they're going to find out. So we thought that in episode 6, the parents would contact Luke's Old Republic. So we're just going to have to wait until episode 7 to see that go down. And it has to happen next week because there's only 2 episodes left. It's very, very obvious that the Muns, the banking clan, and other criminal syndicates, and possibly Thrawn, know about the existence of this planet, and the Muns are using the credits as some way to money launder or to provide services to suspicious underworld groups. Because we know the Man are very corrupt. They would do literally anything for money. During the Clone Wars, they were basically funding both sides. All they care about is money. That's it. They're like the evil Wall Street of the Star Wars galaxy. So definitely the parents are going to contact the New Republic, and the New Republic will take it very, very seriously. All of the X-Wings will report back because now there's been many incidences with the pirates. So the dots will be connected. Luke will have to send somebody, and that person will have to be a Jedi. And this is what I said back in episode 1. I looked on IMDb, and also I looked up the cast of the Skeleton Crew before episode 1 was launched. And there is a female character, and she is a Jedi. And then a week later, that information was erased from the internet. You can't find it anymore. And it seems like, what a waste of a TV show when there's so much mythology there, there's so much focus on Star Wars lore, especially around the Old Republic, and then you don't have a Force user or a lightsaber battle, then that would be a completely wasted script. So 100% for sure, the finale, episode 8, you will see Jod reveal himself as a dark side user, and he will have to face the Jedi of the New Republic, and that is going to be incredibly awesome to watch. I do believe that this story is connected to the other stories like Ahsoka Thrawn and The Mandalorian. However, none of those characters are going to come into it. It's not necessary. And yes, for sure, 100%, we will get a season 2. This show is incredibly popular with Star Wars fans, and not just with the kids. The adults are loving this. So definitely expect a super dark twist at the end. Oh, and one more question. Which spaceship do you prefer? Personally, I thought that the Onyx Cinder, the old crusty, falling to pieces Onyx Cinder looked much better. Actually, if Hasbro could come out with a HasLab, vehicle like they have done with the Ghost and the Razor Crest, oh man, I would definitely buy an Onyx Cinder. Which one do you prefer? The original Onyx Cinder, or the Onyx Cinder, which is like the Phoenix resurrected from the fire? It sheds its skin and becomes new again. I don't think SM-33 will have much more of a role to play. Obviously, he's going to help Brutus with the coordinates to get to At-Attin, but there's not much he can do. I think that at some point, once he has served his purpose, Jod will dispose of him. Everything that Jod does is out of necessity. He's just like Palpatine. He's nice to you when he needs to be nice to you, and then he's nasty to you when he needs to be nasty. And we know that he can kill, and he has no remorse. Actually, someone did record that episode from last week, episode 5 of Tack Renard, when the image is played of him sitting on the chair and it flickers in and out and you can't get a clear image of the person's face. So it's like it's a mystery. Who is he? But somebody must have gone through it frame by frame and then got a screenshot, and we now see very clearly that Tack Renard was a Weequay. So it's not SM-33. So this mystery we can lay to rest. I also think that Wim, because he studies a lot about mythology on his little data bank, and he's always reading those stories about ancient Jedi and Sith fighting against one another, he's probably going to find out where Jod is, and he actually figures out on the planet where this location is. There's like this force energy coming from somewhere, and they discover this old tomb or sanctuary where Jod, so he can dig up some ancient Sith relics to enhance his power. So I'm putting my money on Wim. Like, he's the Scooby-Doo guy. He's the one who's going to figure out, aha, I know what's going on and I know where Jod is. And then everybody can pat Wim on the back and say, good job. Because he needs lots of reassurance. The other thing that we don't know, and it's probably the only thing that's yet to be discovered, is what and who is the supervisor. Again, I'm still going with my theory from last week. I'm really, really stubborn. I'm really doubling down on everything I said in last week's video. There is no supervisor. You just go in there and the room is just like a computer, bleeping and flashing, and there's nothing. No one would sit in a tower their entire life to control an entire planet. How boring is that? So it's got to be either a droid or just a room full of bleeping and flashing lights. Anyway, let me know what you thought in the comment section below, and let's get ready for the penultimate, that's right, the penultimate episode, episode 7 of the Skeleton Crew. Oh man, these last two, if these last two really kick ass, then I'm gonna give this series probably an 8 or 9 out of 10. I've pretty much been hooked on this show ever since episode 1. Right, Hasbro, don't forget, more action figures, we need them now, go! Okay, don't forget to subscribe, guys, and follow me. I have plenty of other videos. I've got unboxing videos, and I also bring you lots of up-to-date news on action figures and Star Wars events such as this year in Japan, 2025, Star Wars Celebration. And then we've got Andor, the second and final season. For the next 3 months, we're going to be absolutely saturated with Star Wars content and information. You can never overdose on Star Wars. You wasteroids!